What if there was an opportunity for us to speak confidently, courageously, yet with compassion, yet with love, yet with tenderness? Well, there is, because Mercury is going to be sextiling Venus on December 13th. And it's going to be a day filled with looking at the almond glasses and seeing all the clarity that they can provide to us, while also seeing the gift that our words have to give to others when it comes to expressing how we truly feel about the people in our lives. The people that we love, the people that we care about could get a good dose of very confident but very compassionate wordings that really could make a difference to their day. You'd be surprised at what words of affirmation can do to somebody's day. So let's talk about this aspect and all the other aspects going on today, December 13th, and tomorrow, December 14th. So let's start talking about this Mercury Venus sextile. So Mercury is currently retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, which represents the time where we're going over our philosophical beliefs of life. We're going over our old narratives of life and really going back to the drawing board and starting out new courses. We're course correcting. That's what Mercury retrograde is when it comes to our beliefs, our thoughts, what we have communicated in the past, either through written or spoken words. So this is all getting a review right now, especially in the sign of Sagittarius, which relates to higher learning. And Venus is in the sign of Aquarius at this point. So it's more patched, it is more out there, sort of cut off, like we want to be friends in relationship. We don't want to be too close, too tight knit with one another. We want to be free. We want to have spontaneity. We want to have healthy attachment relationships. You cannot have love without freedom. That's very, very important to remember. And that is a Venus and Aquarius trademark. They allow their partners to be exactly who they are. They embrace the unity and diversity. And that's really a high road of Aquarian energy. So Mercury sextile Venus. This brings us an opportunity to bring compassionate words to our social circle. This is what this brings. We're speaking very, very compassionately towards the people in our life, towards those who really, truly care about us. It's good to express your love to others in creative ways, in artistic ways, whatever that might be for you. This is good for articulating your feelings about how you truly feel about someone in your life, either through writing a letter to the person, texting a person, or just having a conversation with the person at your favorite cafe. Whatever can help you release your feelings and let them know just exactly how you truly feel about them. And so this is good for impressing others via humor or intelligence. And the gift of this transit is that if you have something very negative to say, it's very easy for you to spin it in a really positive, compassionate, and understanding kind of way. So you have great intelligence and great humor at this time. You may find that you're fun-loving and friendly. This is great for relaxation activities, activities where you're just winding down and relaxing. Leisure activities, those kinds of things can very, very, very well at this time. This is good for expressing your love and affection more effortlessly. And this is good for finding diplomatic win-win situations where the two people are together, are on the same boat, they're debating this side, they're debating that side, and you come to a compromise. You come to a solution that's going to work for both parties involved. And that's the gift of this, is the ability to see all sides of an issue and to form a compromising, balanced, and in between way that will serve and please both you and another person. This is good for resolving any conflicts that you may have in your life, whatever those conflicts may be. This is great for speaking beautifully and compassionately with harmony. This is great for that. Speaking in really, really beautiful ways, very compassionate ways at this time. Now, the next aspect is the moon is going to conjunct Uranus. So this brings about family disputes. It could bring about the issue of things having to take a long time, not being able to be served at this point, because patience and things taking a long time are not going to fare well during this influence. I'm just going to tell you that up front. Take a chance and back yourself. Very, very important to do that. Hack yourself, back yourself. Do not be held by do not be held by tradition or society's standards, because you could easily be held back by that. And you want to move away from that. You want to move into a more free, ecoplasmal, level playing field, grassroots up kind of vision for your life that isn't based on rules and top-down authority, top-down power. So you want to really, really advise yourself to be in the least modalities. So it's very important to express your emotions uninhibitedly and unapologetically while expressing them as well as expressing them. Very, very important. You may find that you have a surge of creativity and imagination that may come in place. You may find that your words don't have a filter. You say something, it's raw, it's blunt, it's direct, it's to the point, it's absolutely true, unfiltered, unprocessed, uncleaned up, um, unsparkled, unshimmied. It's very, very real and raw. That's what you could find is your words come out real and raw. And make sure that what you're saying is truthful, but also kind as well. You may say something and it may have an impact on those around you. The things that you say and do have an impact on those around you, good or bad, for good or for bad. You may feel the need to rebel against the status quo of your life, and changing things up might be, a big issue where you're, rebelling against certain aspects of your life and you want to change things up. And so saying things that shock you and others may be a personal thing. You may say something that may be so truthful, it may be so out of the box that it shocks you and another person with what you have to say. One or two eccentric actions may prove valuable under this transit. And you may feel cut off from your family and friends, but this is important for you to liberate yourself, to move on a path of freedom, to really, really go on that destination point. Another aspect we have going on is that the moon will sextile Neptune. So this brings about the energy of unconditional love to the table. You may feel in the mood for loving romance at this time, in the mood for gamuts, shamuts, very, very wild card types of things, but in the most loving and romantic way possible. You may feel emotionally sensitive to others and their needs. It's also good to fine-tune your psychic abilities. This is good for painting and music in general. Anything artistic, anything creative. This fares well for that at this time. This is good when it comes to enjoying the company of people in pleasant surroundings that are lovely. Um, You may get extra spiritual and psychic protection. This is good for expressions through art and music, expressing your feelings, expressing your heart's desires through art and music is really, really huge to do at this time. There may be a solid sense for rhythm and tone is excellent for music. So you may have a very solid sense of what has to go here, what has to go there in terms of a musical composition, or in terms of creating the music in general. Your sense of rhythm and tone is up in the charts. Um, And so this is good for giving tangible form to intangible energy, which energy is intangible, but can be expressed through people. So this is good for connecting deeply with your loved ones. Very, very good for that. This is good to have trust and compassion as you move through this time. Another aspect we have going on is the moon will trine Pluto. So this makes it so that we're transformed by our emotional reactions. We become closer to your mother or maternal or nurturing figures in your life. That might be a point of power with this. This is about getting to the root of situations, seeing past the illusions, seeing past the facades, seeing past all that lies on the surface, and really digging deep into what is the actual truth of this matter. What is at the core of this issue? And so you may be confronting difficult truths about yourselves and others, about yourself and others that may come about. These truths are very challenging to understand, fully grasp, but you are getting to know these truths very, 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 very well. It's good for following through on difficult aspects of your healing process as well. This is good for working on emotions and not getting working with your emotions and not getting overwhelmed or sucked into them. This is good for having perspective, having a wide vision, having a vantage point that is higher and above everything else. That you have this vantage point and you're observing your emotions and you're making decisions rationally, not getting caught up in the emotions. There's a major difference between being on your eagle's perch and being in the flaming forest, whatever picture that suits your boat with that feels restrictive to you. And so this is about directing your energy towards seeking the truth in situations. You may be probing others' feelings as well, really getting into what they're actually feeling as opposed to what they put on to what they're feeling based off of the ego protectorate forcings. And since this represents more profound encounters and interactions with family members and loved ones that could be found during this time. And you could find that someone is likely to move you deeply or intensely influence your life. That could be found as something very, very high in the charts, as someone is moving you in a deep way, influencing you in a deep way. There may be a karmic pull toward you in a destiny encounter as well that you may find. You may find psychic protection while pushing boundaries. This is good for counseling with an astrologer or past life therapist. Those are very good avenues to consider at this time. The next aspect is the moon is going to sextile the North Node. So with this aspect, our imagination is opened. We may feel more receptive than usual to things. This is good for nurturing our creative talents as well, really honing in on those talents. This is good for connecting with others in a more serious and diplomatic manner. You may prove like you have an asset to your private life. This is good for tuning your emotions with your deeper unconscious. Really, really attuning these two things together. This is about understanding yourself and your purpose on a deeper level, really being connected and being driven and being on the path that is your purpose. And so this is about emotional maturation by those close to you. You may find that those closer to you are maturing and growing on an emotional level. You're growing on an emotional level. That's what you may find. And so family members may nurture your future successes at this time. That's what you may find. You may be preparing to undergo a serious and a deep transformation now, at this point. It's important to be receptive to those that you love around you, with their guidance. They have to give open to their love, open to their guidance. And wounds when it comes to nurturing others may be looked at higher point vantage at this time. So reviewing these wounds again from a higher perspective. So now we're going to talk about the last aspect today, which is the moon is going to sextile Mars. So this brings about extra bursts of passion in your relationship. You may find that your relationships are more passionate. This brings excitement to your relationships with your loved ones. That's very, very important to recognize. Is that the excitement that this brings. This is good for physical exercise with family members and friends, whatever that might be for you. Um, and so it's important to make sure that no one feels left out at this time. Include everybody and anybody, and you'll really be golden at this point in time. And so new relationships may feel rejuvenating at this time. Um, that's what you may find. No one will push you past your point of tolerance, also. That's very, very important to remember. This is good for self-reliance and independence, relying on yourself, being independent. And you'll find that other people will give you more freedom and space to be yourself at this time. And you can come into alignment with group or group causes as well. Now, the card that I chose for December 13th and reveal to you the card that I chose, which was the card I'm using, the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, Albert Trevaldo, and Marcelo Lopez. And the card that I'm using, the card that I chose is the Corn. And so what this deals with is that you've done so much hard work already. You've worked the land, you plowed the fields. You've done so much work in achieving your needs, wants, desires at this point, and that is the time where you might see the harvest. Now that is the time where that harvest may be coming into play and you're seeing and you're reaping the benefits and the rewards of all that hard work. So it's good to acknowledge all the hard work that you've done and the bountiful harvest that you now have in your life. So moving on to December 14th. The very first aspect that we have going on is that the moon will sextile Venus. So this is ideal for being with your friends and family, for spending time with your friends and family, for having greater quality time with your friends and family. This is good for having friends um over at your house for a gathering or celebration. When you have your friends over, you're inviting them into your space, you're allowing them into your life. It's good. It's a good social energy. This is good for any entertainment or amusement or relaxation activities. You may find that you have greater openness and honesty when it comes to sharing your feelings as well. Relationships can go very well. This is good for love and romance as well. It's good for social parties, putting on social gatherings. This is about connecting with people. That's what this is about. And so you could lose money quickly because you're spending them on all the material things that your heart desires that you want to get this. You see it in the store, you see it on a commercial, you see it on an advertisement, and you want to get it. And so you're spending your money. So being very, very careful to save and spend at the same time is very, very important. So then the next aspect we have going on is that the moon will square Saturn. So this is truly about connecting with others in meaningful ways that could pose a challenge. So you're being challenged because you can't really connect with others on a deep, intimate, meaningful level. You may feel sad, lonely, guilty, or ashamed of yourself at this point. Being very, very careful to not get caught up in the nagging that nagging women put you into the certain traps where they're nagging you and you are feeling like a slave to them, that's inefficient, that is incompetent, that is unable to take care of yourself and having to rely on somebody else nagging you. Prove that you can be independent, prove that you can take care of it, and they'll stop nagging. And allow them to give you a chance to prove yourself and prove your worth. If you're in a situation with nagging individuals, not just women. So this is about taking responsibility for your emotional reactions as well, whatever those reactions might be. Um, Taking responsibility for your emotional reactions is very, very critical because we can just react to situations that happen around us, in, whatever way possible. And we're not choosing to respond to those situations, but rather react to those things. So there may be forces of nature restricting you from connecting with loved ones, such as storms, your flight gets delayed, or whatever it is, certain circumstances block you from connecting with loved ones. That represents challenges, obstacles, restrictions in place. You may be feeling in a low mood at this time. You may be perceived as not caring and cold also. So perceived in this way, it may be hard to express your emotions at this time. Saturn represents restriction and challenges and blocks, so it may be hard to fully express your emotions at this point in time. Another aspect we have going on is that the moon will conjunct Jupiter. So this is good for gaining public appeal. Um, we give wise, compassionate guidance that can help others achieve their success or gain public appeal. Um, this is good for giving wise, compassionate guidance that can help others achieve success. Success, that's what I was trying to say. So, advancing your career is also what this has to do with as well. This is good for forming a relationship with an older person that could be a mentor or benefactor. This is good for achieving your dreams and a stipulate that you didn't previously think was possible. So you're reciprocating your dreams and you're estipulating them into something that you didn't think was possible before, but you've stipulated it, so now it is possible for you in your life. This is good for tuning into your emotions with others, getting involved in charities. Also, this is good for throwing parties, as you feel more social not going to, so throwing parties can serve very, very well at this time. Moving on to the next aspect, which is Moon trine Lilith. So what this means is your intention and raw emotions are really, really highlighted at this time. This creates a need for independence from away from your family and home life. So you may feel the need to be independent, be very sovereign in yourself, not being sort of connected with them in a kind of way where you want to be separate from them, you want to rebel, you want to go on your own path, you want to march to the beat of your own drum, not following along with family and traditions in your home life. So there's a rebellious quality to Black Moon Lilith. Um, So we can find that we have inner harmony and emotional depth as well. Untamed instincts and repressed desires may come to the forefront. Well, that's Lilith's energy. Hidden truths may come to the surface at this time. So acknowledge the truths, integrate the truths, be there for the truths. This is good for tapping into your shadows. It's very, very important not to get overwhelmed by your revelations that you have that force you to do things that are completely radical and completely new, disrupting the stability in your life and so many different types of things. So not getting too caught up in those revelations is what this is all about. And the last aspect that I'm going to touch on is that the moon is going to sextile Chiron. So this means that your soul is communicating your wounds that have to be healed via emotional languages. So it's very, very important to understand is that your soul will communicate what you need to heal through emotions, through symbolic experiences. You know the steps to take on your healing journey, so take those steps. This is good for attracting people who serve your need for security, pulling past wounds to perspectives that bring you more security. You're putting past wounds in perspective. You're putting these wounds, these trauma, these fears in perspective to gain a greater sense of security with this. You may find that you have heightened emotional sensitivity also to things. This is good for creating a supportive and safe environment around you. This is good for forming supportive relationships as well. So forming deep emotional connections with those around you is what this is all about, really forming those deep connections with those around you. And the card that I chose for this day is card number 29, The Journey. So this is the card for December 14th, The Journey. And this represents that you're jumping on new opportunities. Now is the time to take advantage of an opportunity. Now is the time to have a path and go solely on that path to achieve what you need, want, desire. Because if you don't take action at the present time, you may miss your opportunity. You may miss the boat to your next great adventure on the sea and to the island that you want to get to, literally or figuratively. Um, So this is about going after what you desire most and taking advantage of the opportunity while the iron is hot, while your inspiration is big, while it is in front of you, because it may go away, maybe like a bubble that's floating around and you suddenly pop it without intending to, because you missed the wonderful opportunity of witnessing that bubble. So that is the astrology and oracle readings for December 13th and 14th. Please like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now, everybody.